Welcome back to another video. I appreciate your time as always. Is the new Pope gay? I have no idea. But you did click on it for that clickbait, didn't you? We're always clicking on the clickbait. We don't always want real substance, but we like clickbait titles. So there's a clickbait title for you. However, I will address it briefly. I will say, since there is a belief on the Roman Catholic side, brought down that argument many times. It has been debunked many times. But they will say King James was gay. I think he was gay. He had a lot of male people that he knew, a lot of male concerts. I said concerts. That's not what I was actually trying to say. But he had a lot of men around him all the time, and he was more fond of men than he was with women, and so on and so forth. So there we go. Well, then I'd have to assume then the new pope has to be gay or must be gay. He hangs around men all the time. He supports the gay community. He supports those who are in position when they shouldn't be, who are okay with the homosexual crowd, and they're all for that. And as we know, the old church, the Catholic Church, does not approve of any of that, but the new effeminate Catholic Church does. But don't you worry, the Sedevacantist are coming, and they want the old style back. And they want to just go ahead and just kill all the heretics eventually, so that's their belief. Somebody goes, you have no proof. But anyways, I want to get into the homosexual part of it for a second, because the accusation that we all know came well after the fact of King James' death in 1626, I believe. You can fact check me. I think it was 1626. But that came after the fact by a gentleman named Sir Anthony Weldon, if memory serves me correct. Sir Anthony Weldon came with that whole thing after the fact because he was let go from King James, who was had a Scottish background, and he was racist against Scottish, not King James, but Sir Anthony Weldon. I think it was because he was basically calling Scots a bunch of dogs. I guess that didn't go down well with King James, so he had to be let go. Now, these attacks on him, it's very interesting how this happens, because more often than not, people are always attacking people, number one, after they're dead, when they can't defend themselves, or it's a political attack when you align with another side because another side let you go. It's been happening throughout history. So when somebody lets you go and they don't want you part of their crowd, then you come up with something after the fact to try to attack them. Nothing new. Nothing new at all. But I will say, I'm like, well, we never had that in our history, the Roman Catholics will tell you. Well, then I'd have to ask you, what about Pope Benedict IX or Pope Paul II or even Pope Julius III? I'm just going to give you three. We can do more because there are more. But these men were accused of things, right? Pope Benedict IX, who was in 1032 to 1048. I had to look it over there in my paperwork there. 1048. He was accused of sexual immorality as well. Well, I can say that word, huh? I believe he's one of the youngest popes. I could be wrong, but I think he was one of the youngest ones. But he was accused of unspeakable acts in the Lateran Palace. Now, I'm not saying he did or didn't do it, but he was accused of it. So, therefore, going with the strain that the Roman Catholics come up with, that King James is gay or homosexual with no evidence, then we got a problem, don't we? Now, the Catholics have to say the same thing. They have to accept their background. Do they or do they not? Whatever they put into effect now, and Pope Paul II as well. He was in the 1400s, the latter half of the 1400s. Or sorry, the latter half of the 1500s. He was accused by his folks at that time of being effeminate and having inappropriate relations with young men. Now, these accusations could have come from, people opposed him, political opposition. Now, I'm not saying he did or did not do it. I'm more leaning towards he did because, well, let's face it, it's been a history of it. But there's been a history of a lot of religions, a lot of denominations, those who stick more with traditional ideas made by men, not men of God, following a church belief instead of the Bible. It's the way it works. And then there's Pope Julius III. He was also in the 1600s. He's had homosexual behavior. In fact, there's a lot of, I would say, pretty good stuff out there for evidence that is well documented. He had inappropriate. He had a major scandal over there. What do you do with this? Now, I will say the historians that are not Christian have actually debunked the King James thing. But my point is pretty simple. What we have, and I would say maybe even on both sides, and it's no secret here, I'm a King James Bible believing Christian. That's what I am. I believe in that Bible. That's the Bible but I also just say I'm a Bible believing Christian. I believe that Bible to be much closer to the truth. And when folks tell you, oh man, the rewritten history of the King James, it always changes all the time. Well, I would say to any Roman Catholic listening right now, have you looked at the history of your own? It's so easy to throw those stones, is it not? As the old saying goes at the glass house. But you have your own problems. You have your own schisms. You have your own issues. You are so messed up in that church as well as the Baptist and the Pentecostal. And you probably don't know or should know, I'm neither a Roman Catholic nor am I a Protestant. But I do stick to the Bible. I'm a Bible-believing Christian. I follow that as closely as I possibly can. Because yes, I like you, am not perfect. But the reason I defend the King James Bible is not so much a defense of King James. But I want you to take a look at your own. It's amazing how people don't look in-house. So I would ask you, if you are against homosexuality, as you well should be, if you are a true Roman Catholic, if you are a true born-again Bible-believing Christian, you should absolutely 100% be against it. There's no if, ands, or buts about it. Then now you have to figure out whatever Pope Benedict put into place, you got to get rid of. Pope Paul II, you can't follow it. Pope Julius III, got to get rid of it. So, well, they had some good beliefs. Oh, then you agree with homosexuals. You're in. But again, I'll talk more, which I've already have in the past, about sedevacantism. It is on the rise. I said this a long time ago that it would be, and I'm noticing it is. You have Mel Gibson who pushes this. And Jim, I could be saying his name's, this next actor, I'll say his name wrong, I think, not in trying to offend him, but I think his last name is Cavazzilli or some Cavazzilli, Jim Cavazzilli. I never could pronounce his name, but he did, I know, a TV show way back. Well, yes, he did The Passion of Christ, but he did a Point of Interest or something like that, or Interest, Point of, I don't know what it is. Going off track there, but there's a push for that. But I don't think the younger generation understand what they're trying to get involved with. They're going old school, which means take out all the heretics. Because we know the new Catholic Church is the wrong Catholic Church, right? We know that they're wrong. A lot of the Catholics will tell you that. They're not following the old ways. And they're right. Those who defend sedevacantism are absolutely correct. This current Catholic Church isn't 100% the right one, right? When it comes to dogma. But here's the problem. They were supposed to do that in secret like they did in the old days. That's the problem. The new church is out in the open. The old church kept it hidden behind doors. Killing of babies. And don't tell me it didn't happen. It did. And is the new pope gay? Maybe. He could be a homosexual. Absolutely 100%. We know there's many, many stories. I'm going to give you the one story that is pretty close to home with my father. He had a best friend in high school. And back in the 60s, Roman Catholicism dominated the Northeast. I don't live in the Northeast anymore. And that's up in, Massachusetts, Connecticut, all that area. So anyways, he went out to the seminary to become a priest. And he came back. And he told my father it was the sickest thing he ever did. And he went on to tell him how when he was in the seminary, they very much pushed the acceptance of homosexuality. And that's back then, the 60s. So when people say, oh, this is a recent thing with the boys and the young boys, no, it's not. No, it's not. Plus, these guys who made the accusations were in their 50s and 60s and so forth. It's nothing new. They teach this at seminaries. Now, I won't say all the seminaries, but I know of that one, and someone else in confidence had told me they heard the same thing in their family as well. And I'll tell you right now, my whole family believes my Uncle Doug, was he my great uncle? Yeah, because he's my grandmother's brother. He's dead now, but he was up in Vermont. He was a homosexual as well, and a Catholic priest. It's nothing new. So when this whole, idea of like the new Catholic Church is different, yes, in the way that they're ecumenical, which they're not supposed to be, and the fact that they have it all out in the open, that they're okay with homosexuality, they say, hey, you're okay. We accept everybody. Well, the old Catholic Church would tell you they don't. But behind the scenes, they do. Now, this might have been all over the map for you. I don't know. But I think it's important to understand. When Catholics, the Roman Catholic people, some of them, not all of them, because I've actually met nice Catholic people. There are decent ones. But usually the most pushback and the most angry comments I get over time have been anytime I usually do anything on Catholics. Interesting. On the ESV crowd, they get mad at me too. But it's not about trying to attack anyone or make anybody angry. These are facts. This is just stuff that's there. Things for you to think about. Now, when I go and tell you that the new pope is gay, or is he gay, I'm not saying that he is. There's a probability that he is behind the scenes. Pope Benedict IX, I'm not saying he was. Well, there sure were a lot of accusations that he was. Pope Paul II, Pope Julius III, I'm not saying they were. But there's a lot of information out there and a lot of accusations that they were. And they're just a few. Well, I appreciate your time this evening. I'm trying to make these a little quicker, straight to the point. And I'm not saying it's going up. That's because you want us to be a Protestant. No, it's not what I'm saying at all. I'm not trying to make you a Protestant. I'm not trying to make you a Pentecostal or a Baptist or a Methodist or a Unitarian. God forbid. And I like the people who have exposed King James. What do you got? That Alistair McGrath, I think it was. The Methodist, or no, he was an Anglican and a Methodist, or he started out as Catholic, I think. Started out a Christian or something like that. Then became a Methodist, and then was ordained an Anglican priest. Usually people have something, they have skin in the game, is what I want to say. They have skin in the game, so that's what they do. They accuse people when they have skin in the game. But I'm not, like I said, I don't have skin in the game. And my bias is only one, and that's the Holy Bible. My bias isn't towards protecting Protestants or going after Catholics only. If you listen to me long enough, I've gone after, for lack of better terminology, I've gone after all. I pointed out the hypocrisy of the Pentecostals, the Baptists, all of them. Methodists, obviously Roman Catholic, because that's just an obvious one. Listen, you got Baptists who aren't even King James anymore. You have guys who are Baptists and ESV, NIV. And they're not even supposed to be. They're going against their whole thing. I appreciate you listening tonight. I'm thankful that you take your time. I'm always thankful. And I'm grateful. And with that, I say God bless and have a beautiful evening. Good night.